Now today we're going to be making a sausage pasta bake. What we're going to do is boil up some pasta, make a nice meaty sauce, and then we're going to use a white sauce to go over the top. So it all comes together and makes a delicious pasta bake. So for making this sausage pasta bake, I'm just going to go through the ingredients I'm going to use. Now I've chosen to use rigatoni pasta, but you could use penne. Now I'm going to use 500 grams of rigatoni pasta. 6 sausages. Now choose the ones you want. I've chosen to use Lincolnshire sausages. Just going to, chop those up, fry them up in the frying pan, along with this chorizo. Now when you buy chorizo, it normally comes in like a horseshoe shape. I'm using roughly about half of it. Gives it a lovely meaty flavour. Now this one is actually a little bit spicy. It's got a bit of chilli in there, so give it a little bit of heat. Going to peel the skin back and just chop it up. Couple of carrots. Now we're going to grate the carrots. A good handful of mushrooms. Slice those down. 2 cloves of garlic. You can either crush those or chop them up nice and fine. 1 onion. Chop that nice and fine. So peel it, chop it up, fine as you can really. A little cube of vegetable stock. Going to mix that with 300 millilitres of boiling water. I've also got some mixed herbs over here. You could use Italian herbs, whatever ones you've got really. A can of chopped tomatoes. About 1/3 of a tube of tomato puree, just to sort of richen it up a little bit. Lee Perrins Worcester sauce, give it a good splash of that. Freshly ground black pepper, some salt, and I've got about 150 millilitres of red wine, so that's like a glass of red wine. And then finally, just to get a few more vegetables in there, some fresh spinach. So that's most of the ingredients for making this. The only other ingredients we've got to go through is for making up the white sauce that's going to be poured on the top. Now for making this white sauce, just going to go through the ingredients you're going to need. I've got 50 grams of butter, 50 grams of plain flour, 1 pint of milk, which is about 568 millilitres, fresh nutmeg. Now I'm going to grate some fresh nutmeg, really good in the white sauce, along with some freshly ground black pepper and some salt. Now in that bowl I've got some mature cheddar cheese, so it's a nice strong cheese. I'm going to grate all of that. Now in total I've got 250 grams of cheese. Half of that cheese is going to go in the white sauce. The other half is just going to be sprinkled on top of the pasta bake just when it's going in the oven. So what we're going to do now is get everything prepared, go over to the hob, get on with the cooking. So I've come over to the hob, going to get on with the cooking. Now I've got everything sort of laid out and prepared at hand, because that way it keeps your life nice and simple. Now I'm going to start with some olive oil in the pan. So let's just put a bit of olive oil in there. And then we'll switch the heat on. Probably going to start on about a medium heat. So we just let that warm up a little bit, and then we're going to start off with the chorizo. So I've got my pan just warming up, so let's go in with the chorizo first. Now we'll just give those a move around. Now the chorizo gives a beautiful colour to the oil and a lovely flavour, so it's a good one to start with. So let's just move those around quickly. Try and get it all coated with that oil. And next of all, I'm going to put in the onions. I've got my onions. Pop those straight in. Look at the onions. Got that lovely colour coming off the chorizo. And it's smelling wonderful in this kitchen. That's it. Now I think also, I might as well put the mushrooms in there as well. I'll just place those on top. And again, I've got the garlic as well. Might as well put that in. Now what I say is you probably want to cook this for about 5 minutes to start with. Just to soften it down a little bit. Now I'm just making a little place in the middle, because I think I'm going to put my sausage in there as well. So let's just put all the sausage in there. If you need to turn the heat up a little bit, because it's cooled down, because when you put ingredients in the pan, cold ingredients, they tend to drop the heat, so turn it up if you need to. So now I've got the sausage in there. What I'd say is, you know, turn them over now and again, try and build up a little bit of colour, soften everything down, and I'd say do this for about 5 or 6 minutes. Now I've been cooking for just about 5 minutes, so just going to give it a final toss around. Like that. Lovely. Now I'm going to put the carrots in next. Try and get some vegetables in a dish. Again, just mix those in. And next of all, got me wine. So just make sure the heat's fairly high when you put the wine in. Yeah, lovely. Just a little splash more. Let's say roughly about 150ml of wine. If you don't want to use the wine, leave that out. You can always add a little bit extra stock if you like. But I'm putting it in there for the flavour. Let's just move that around. Now I've also got me vegetable stock, so we can just pour that in. Lee Perry's Worcester sauce. Good splash of that. Then I've got tomato puree. Probably going to use about 1/3 of a tube of that. So let's help if I opened it up first. That's it. That's it. Just richens it up a little bit. So roughly about 1/3, even half a tube if you like. Also, cans of tomatoes. 1 can of tomatoes. Now I've got those mixed herbs, but as I say, you could use like Italian herbs, whatever herbs you've got. That's it. Freshly ground black pepper. I'm just going to put a little bit of salt. That's it, just a little pinch of salt there. And let's just give that a move around. And then what I'm going to do is turn the heat down a little bit. Fairly lowish heat, and we're going to cook that for about 25, maybe 30 minutes. But now and again, come back, just give it a quick mix around. Now I've been cooking that meaty sauce for 30 minutes, so I think that's pretty much cooked. Just give it a quick test. Oh, it's lovely. That's a really nice sauce, and you've got the sausage, the chorizo in there, the mushrooms. That's going to be lovely. Now I'm going to take that away, take it off the heat for a moment, because that's done. So now I've put the meaty sauce aside. Let's first of all get on with the white sauce. So again, switch the heat on. I'll start on about a medium. Pop the butter in there. Let that melt, just go a little bit frothy, and then we can add in the plain flour. Right, the butter's just about melted. Now I'm going to go in with the flour. Oops, just put that straight in. And what you want to do is just mix that around and let the flour absorb the butter. So you're kind of like making a roux really. And what we're going to do is just keep mixing this around. If you need to turn the heat up a little bit, always turn it up. What you don't want to do though is to make it really dark like a gravy, because we're making more of a white sauce. So just cook it. Try and cook the flour off a bit, and then we can start adding in the milk. So I'll just carry on doing this. That's it. But cooking the flour off probably for a few minutes. If you find the heat's really hot and it's, you know, it's going to burn, then you can always lift the pan off. But mine's just about done now, so I'm going to pour in some milk. Now you tend to put the milk in just a little bit at a time to start with. And once that's been absorbed, then you can add another little dose. And keep doing that. Now I've been adding the milk in. You can put a little bit more at a time. Now also I'm going to swap over to me balloon whisk because I'm trying to get the lumps out as well now. I've got a bit of liquid in there. Again. So once you've got the lumps out, which I think we have, we can add some cheese. But before I add the cheese, I'm just going to season it. I need a little bit of salt. I'm going to use a little bit of black pepper and the nutmeg. Try and use fresh nutmeg as you can, gives it a slightly more intense flavour. Again, give it a mix. That's it. I might just cook it for a minute or two, just to slightly thicken it up a bit more. And then I'm going to put the cheese in there. That's it. I've just left that on the heat for a few minutes. It's just starting to thicken up a little bit. Now I do want to quickly give it a taste. See how it is. I'm going to put a little bit more salt in there. That's it. Now also, turn the heat down a little bit. Turn it on very low. Now I'm going to add in the cheese. I'll probably leave it at that. I've got slightly more for going on the topping. Again, let's just stir that in a little bit. And I think I'll take that off the heat now, so switch that off. And there's your white sauce all ready to go. Now that will thicken up by the time we get to use it. We're just going to do the pasta, so it will slightly thicken up. Now let's just put that aside and we're quickly going to get on with the pasta. So I'm going to get on with the pasta. Now I've got a pan of boiling water. Generally you put a bit of salt in when you're cooking pasta. Obviously I'm using this one, rigatoni. Penne's good. If we can get in there. Right, now I'm just going to pour that in. Now with the pasta I've got, it says cook time boiling for about 11 to 13 minutes. Now I'm actually going to cook for a couple of minutes less. So I'm going to probably cook mine for around about 9 minutes. I don't want to overdo it because don't forget we're going to put this in the oven as well. So just keep that boiling away, turn it down if it's going to overboil. Set your timer. I'm going to set my timer for around about 9 minutes. Now I've been cooking that pasta for 9 minutes, a couple of minutes less than the packet. Let me just grab a piece and try that. Just starting to soften down nicely. Switch that off and I'm going to go and drain it off in the colander. Now I've drained your pasta off. Now I'm also going to bring back my meaty sauce because what I'm going to do is to tip all that in that pot there. Now I'm going to give this a toss over. Before I do, next to go in is some of that spinach. So let's turn it around and then we can add a little bit more. Now I've come over to the table. It's a bit more light and it's a bit easier to do it here. So I'm just going to turn this around, mix it all around together, and we can put it in the baking dishes. Just pour all that in there like this. Now again, let's just spread that out a little bit gently. Whoops. Now what I'm going to do next, before I pour that white sauce on, I'm just going to put this on a baking tray, just in case there's any spillage in the oven or as we're putting it on. So let's get your white sauce. Now if your white sauce was thickened up too much, I mean mine's nice, look, that's a lovely white sauce. What you can do is just add a little bit more milk. So I'm just going to pour that carefully over. I think we're just about there really. That's as much as I dare. I've got a little bit left, but the dish could have been a little bit bigger. Then we've got that cheese. Now I'm just going to sprinkle the cheese on. And there you go. Starting to look nice. That looks delicious. So I'm just going to place that in the oven. That's it. Shut that up. Now I've got my oven preheated, temperature-wise 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, gas mark 4. Now cook time, I would say around about 25, maybe 30 minutes. It should be a nice golden brown colour on top. So leave that cooking away and we'll come back in about 25, 30 minutes. Now I've had mine cooking for 30 minutes. And let's have a little look at that. Oh, look at that, beautiful. I think I'm going to take that out of the oven, put it on the table, and then I'll probably leave it for 5 or so minutes just to cool down slightly and settle down. So let's put that on the table. Now I've left mine for about 5 minutes and I'm going to serve a piece up and try this. Now the bit I fancy is just around here. I think that looks a really nice piece. See if I can squeeze that bit of chorizo in as well. Let's just get a portion of this. Oh, it's nice and saucy at the bottom. Right, let's carefully see if I can get out a nice big lump. Oh, lost a bit. That's alright, I'll come back for that. That's it, look at that. And you've got a really nice sauce at the bottom there that you could pour over. A little bit of that, it's all flavour. Beautiful. So it certainly looks nice in there. Just going to try that bit of sausage. Oh, lovely. Now, let me just try a little bit of the pasta. Just try that on its own with the sauce. See how that is. A bit of cheese. Really nice. All the flavours really work nice together. Lovely. It's a lovely dish. I'm going to try a little bit more. Then I'll get a bit of that chorizo. Chorizo is delish. Try and put chorizo in this dish. It's so delicious. I've already tried a bit of sausage, so maybe a bit of that spinach would be nice. Bit of mushroom. Oh, a bit more of that chorizo. Can't go wrong with that combination. This is absolutely yummy. And that dish would probably feed, 6 people, maybe 8. Absolutely delicious. Thanks for watching my videos. And obviously go and play with the ingredients, the sausages and the things you want to put in there. Make it your own. It's worth making. See you on the next video. The Original Naked Chef.